Imagine tracking down the last remaining copies of a legendary, prehistoric apex predator, spending millions to bankrupt your rivals just to monopolize its godlike power, only for some eccentric billionaire in a magenta suit to turn your ultimate pride into a squeaking, rubbery caricature that mocks your entire existence. That is exactly the psychological warfare Maximillion Pegasus inflicted upon Seto Kaiba when he birthed the Toon Blue-Eyes White Dragon into the world of Duel Monsters. Visually, this creature undergoes a radical physiological shift from its baseline, terrifying counterpart. We observe an extreme case of craniofacial disproportion, a manifestation of severe ocular hypertrophy where massive, hyperexpressive eyes boast concentric iris patterns that completely replace the cold, slit-like pupils of a standard reptile. The terrifying, calcified hide is replaced by a highly elastic, non-keratinized dermal structure, effectively giving it a rubber hose limb morphology reminiscent of early 20th century animation. Its jaws, instead of housing rows of razor-sharp, apex predator dentition, feature simplified, blocky teeth that look less like a weapon of mass destruction and more like a malicious grin from a distorted carnival. This aesthetic overhaul directly mirrors its internal psychology, a chaotic blend of juvenile mischief and slapstick sadism. Toon Blue-Eyes White Dragon does not breathe incinerating streams of cosmic energy to obliterate its foes out of ancient duty, it does so while snickering, dodging lethal blows by shifting its anatomy with physics-defying elasticity, and openly mocking the solemn dignity of the entire monster ecology. Standard beasts inhabit an established high-fantasy ecosystem, bound by rigid rules of life cycles, mystical alignments, and physical mortality. Maximillion Pegasus, fueled by personal tragedy and empowered by the reality-bending magic of the Millennium Eye, pierced the veil of standard sorcery to instantiate an entirely separate dimensional layer. This is a pocket reality where standard laws of biology and physics are completely overwritten by cartoon logic. Toon Blue-Eyes White Dragon stands at the absolute zenith of this invasive paradigm, possessing a staggering 3,000 attack points, matching the peak offensive output of any main deck creature while remaining completely decoupled from the material constraints that govern ordinary dragons. This creature represents the ultimate desecration of Seto Kaiba's personal mythology. As we know from ancient history, the original dragon is not merely a piece of cardboard, it is the physical manifestation of Kisara, a pure Egyptian soul whose tragic sacrifice defined an entire era. By taking this sacred, silver-white deity and forcing it into a cheap, commercialized, Western animation aesthetic, Pegasus effectively commits a form of corporate blasphemy. He uses Americanized pop culture to humiliate Kaiba, successfully unraveling his fragile, logic-driven psyche during the Duelist Kingdom tournament. Seto Kaiba utterly loathes this entity, viewing its very existence as an intolerable stain upon his signature monster. The real-world design genetics here are incredibly fascinating, blending classic 1930s American animation tropes, specifically the bouncy, rubbery style perfected by Fleischer Studios and early Disney silly symphonies, with the Japanese artistic tradition of chibi or super-deformed caricature. It is an artistic bridge that highlights Pegasus's canonical obsession with Western cartoons, showing how cross-cultural aesthetics can create something deeply unsettling yet whimsical. Toon Blue-Eyes White Dragon holds a prestigious position as the first ever light attribute main deck monster that completely barred players from normal summoning it, demanding a strict tribute ritual while Toon World maintained its reality warping presence on the field. Furthermore, it remains tied with monolithic entities like Toon Blackluster Soldier and Toon Ancient Gear Golem for the highest raw offensive power among all main deck Toon variants. What if the Toon conversion process is not a mere holographic illusion or a superficial spell, but rather a virulent, reality-warping infection that actively overwrites the spiritual DNA of the monster? If the original Blue Eyes is the reincarnated soul of an ancient Egyptian woman, Toon Blue-Eyes White Dragon might represent a tragic state of existential imprisonment. Pegasus's magic might literally trap these ancient, dignified spirits inside a pocket dimension of perpetual, slapstick torment, forcing them to wear a grinning mask while their true, majestic forms are suppressed beneath layers of rubbery flesh, turning their legendary roars into high-pitched, mocking laughter for the amusement of a grieving creator. It transforms a battle of monsters into a psychological funhouse mirror, where you are not just fighting a dragon, but fighting the very concept of parody itself.